Ooh, yummy.
Hi, this is Tammy Hamilton, that's Miguel Hamilton, and this is Hamilton Clan Baking. Today we are going to make walnut, chocolate chip, and some extra chocolate cookies. So we ran out of chocolate chips, so we're gonna just put some more chocolate in, okay? All right, so here's what you're gonna need to get started. You ready? Okay, you're gonna need two sticks of butter. It doesn't have to be, for the cookies, it doesn't have to be softened butter or room temperature butter. It can be cold butter because we're making cookies. But we let it soften just a little bit so we can cut it and put it in our mixer. So 2 sticks of butter. We do salted. I don't know about unsalted. If y'all need unsalted, y'all need to look up that because we do unhealthy stuff around here. I do it the way my grandmother did it. Then we're gonna use, here's your sugars. You're gonna need a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. And we put vanilla bean in our sugar so it has a slight vanilla flavor to it. It's really delicious. Then we do a 3/4 cup packed brown sugar. And when they say packed brown sugar in a recipe, it just means push it down because brown sugar clumps together. And if you don't pack it down, you won't get the right amount or the right measurement. The chocolate chips we have, it's about, what, 3/4 of a cup or something like that. And Reese's Minis as our second chocolate source. 2 eggs, room temperature. Your eggs should always be room temperature unless your recipe specifically tells you not, but they should usually be room temperature. Walnuts, of course, that's the most important ingredient, one of the most important ingredients. And then here's your flour. You're gonna have 2.5 cups of flour. To that flour, you wanna put in a teaspoon, of baking powder, teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in your flour. We're gonna mix that up before we put it in our bowl, okay? And also, let's not forget the timer. Every baker needs a timer. It's very important, or you'll over mix your stuff or under mix your stuff, okay? And you need to know how long to cook your stuff. So a timer, dollar store timer you can get. Did I show you the vanilla? Vanilla, we use Watkins around here. That's the best. And a couple of utensils. We have a spatula. This is help us scrape down the side of our bowl. This spatula, once the dough is in, it helps us move it around. Okay, so Miguel and I are gonna head to the stove and we're going to roast the walnuts. So this is what you'll see. We got 2 cups of walnuts we're gonna roast, and you'll see that next. And then we'll show you how to put it all together, okay? We'll be back. Okay. Feel it, it's hot. Okay, I'm gonna pour the walnuts in like this. And so, just kind of monitoring like that. And as they get warm, you'll see them. You start moving them around, because they kind of change color. You see, you can see a little steam come off of them. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You want to just move them around. You don't want them to stick. Yeah, okay. So now we're smelling them real good now. Okay, so that's probably about enough. And you want to turn your fire off. Turn your fire off. Okay, and now the pan and put them in something to let them cool. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then we'll come back and show you how we're going to use the walnuts in the recipe. Okay? All right. But our cookies, we want them to be chunky. So instead of chopping them real fine, we just chop them enough so that you get that chunk in your cookie, right? Because it's going to be a chunky walnut cookie. You're going to have 2 cups of chopped pecans that go in the cookies, okay? Use the mixer. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put it all together, make the cookies. So we just cut that so it can fit in the bowl. Okay. So I'm gonna move that out of the way. Okay, so here's a really important step that we need to know when we're baking. So with every baking recipe, or mainly every baking recipe that calls for butter and sugar, which is cookies, cakes, sometimes pies. What you want to do first, a very important step, is to cream your butter and sugar together so that your sugar and your butter dissolves together and mixes together. So you put your butter in, drop down your mixer, you start it low, and you cream your butter. That's your first step. Okay, next you want to drop your sugar in. You can put in your brown sugar, and you put in your white sugar. That's that vanilla flavored sugar. Put that in there, turn it on. And now you're gonna go for 5 minutes. Turn it 5 minutes. Start your timer, and you cream your butter and sugar together. So we put it on about between 2 and 4. And we're gonna let that go for 5 minutes. And in between those 5 minutes, we're gonna stop and we're gonna scrape down the side of our bowl because that's important to make sure everything is incorporated. So we'll see you back in about 2 minutes. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna stop the timer. And stop our mixer. Like this, and we're going to scrape down the bowl. The reason we scrape down the bowl is to make sure everything gets incorporated. Because see, at the bottom of that bowl, sometimes that stuff doesn't get mixed. So you want to scrape down your bowl. That's really important. Scrape down your bowl. You might have to scrape down your bowl a few times, but you want to make sure all those yummy ingredients, especially like with this sugar, gets incorporated and is mixed really well. So okay, and then we're gonna drop it back down, and we're gonna let it go for the rest of the time. Okay, so we're gonna drop the mixer to just a stir. We're gonna stir in our eggs, 2 eggs, but we're gonna go 1 egg at a time. So we're trying to get 1 egg at a time, and you let that incorporate. Let that mix. Once that's mixed, then you drop your 2nd egg in. And after it finishes mixing, we're going to scrape down our bowl again and move to the next step. Okay, so we're almost done. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in our vanilla. They say 1 teaspoon, but we put in more because we like that vanilla flavor. So we'll 1 and maybe 2. Let that incorporate. And while we're finishing that up for 24 seconds, we're going to take our flour. Remember we had the mixture where we had the baking powder, baking soda, and salt. And we're just going to run that around in our flour to mix it in. Okay. Now our timer is about done. So we'll turn our timer off. We'll turn our mix off. We raise that up. We're going to scrape down our bowl again. So now that the eggs are in there, you see how creamy that is? Okay. Now, once you get here, you don't want to do too much more mixing. So all we're going to do now, after we scrape down, see that egg still wasn't quite mixed in there. So we want that all mixed in. We don't want no egg at the bottom. We want it all incorporated. So. Alright. So we're gonna drop it down. We're gonna start it on low like that. We're gonna start adding our flour. When you add your flour, you let it get incorporated. You don't want to go too long because this is over mixing if you mix too long. Okay? Now we're gonna add the rest of it. I'll just set that to the side because we're gonna use that again. Okay, and now we're gonna add in our chocolates. Okay. Here we go, taste it.
Yes, sir.
There you go, take the whole thing.
Okay.
All right, while he's tasting, we're gonna get the rest of it, incorporate it in that bowl, like that. See, we want all of that goodness, but we don't want any of that flour. So we just turn it, because we don't want to overmix. That's easy to do. Overmix makes everything hard and, you know, not fluffy. Okay, so that's about it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this bowl that we had our flour in. And we're going to next thing we gotta do is put it in the refrigerator for about an hour and let it get kind of cool because cookies always work better when they're cold. Okay, so now we're gonna drop our walnuts in. Okay? And we're going to mix them around like that. See, that's why we use the wooden one. It hurts. Yeah, see, that was going to be walnut-rich cookies right there. Look at that. So we got your chocolate, you got your walnuts. And oh my goodness, how good they smell. Got the whole family here with me. Okay. Just get a good mix of our walnuts. Make sure it's all throughout the dough.
That just smells delicious.
Delicious, right? Okay, so that's our homemade gourmet cookie dough. That's the way we do it in Hamilton family. We make it rich and yummy and delicious. Now to put the lid on the bowl. All right, here you go. Put that in the refrigerator. Look at that. All right, so the cookies just came out of the refrigerator. We let them get cool, and now we're gonna use an ice cream scoop because we're gonna make big cookies. They're gonna be chunky, right? So what we do is we kind of put a little flour in our ice cream scoop. Get a little flour in there like that, and just dust it off because we want to now dip in like this. Right? Want to fill it like that, okay? And then we're gonna scoop it out. So after we scoop it, we're gonna roll it like this. I'm gonna drop it on our cookie sheet. Okay? All right, one more time. We're gonna do it. Scoop. Scoop it out. Roll it. Press it down. That's 2. Okay? Alright, you wanna try?
Yes, sir.
Akani on the track. track. Connie on the track.
So now we preheat our oven. So it says 350, but we're gonna put it on 356. Okay, here we go. Oven 356. We're gonna do it for 15 minutes. Turn on, turn around, and we'll check them around 10 or 12 minutes to make sure that they're not overcooking. We actually put them in for another minute because I just thought that they needed to be a little bit browner. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the paper like this. Hold that, son. And we're going to roll the cookies over on here. Okay? So, because we don't want them to continue cooking. So, you can see right here the color of them at the bottom. You don't want them any lighter than that or much darker than that. So we're just gonna let those cool, and we're gonna go ahead and put our second batch in, and when they come out, we can, they'll have cooled enough, and we'll show you what they look like inside when we take a bite, okay? Second batch going in. Since we know we had that extra minute, we'll just go with 16 minutes. Hold on, we'll be right back. Okay. You want them at the table or at the bar?
Look at that cookie.
All right. Okay, so this is how we serve it in the Hamilton clan. This is homemade ice cream that we made yesterday. It's a chocolate ice cream. I think it's chocolate pecan or something like that. So we made a homemade ice cream with our Cuisinart ice cream maker, and we're serving that with cookies today. And this is how we serve it. There you go. There you go. Okay, so this is our homemade chocolate ice cream. I think we did chocolate pecan ice cream. Yeah. Yep. Let's see that cookie. Hey, it's still warm, so it might break apart.
Well, let's try this ice cream now. This tastes really good.
This is our baking channel. We're going to be baking cookies, cakes, mainly cakes and cookies, and making ice cream and other things we decide to add. But this is just me and the boys and me teaching them how to bake so they can sweeten the pot for their potential. Bye. Taste it.
This is really good, man.
It is I, Blaster of the Universe, Boozilla himself. Fellas, I hope you got something in your cup. And ladies, don't be afraid to make your way to the stage for a band that I name.
Now, we're just gonna push the batter down like that. Go ahead and drop our walnuts.
Wait. You gotta give me weight.
Don't show the bowl, just show the
Okay,
walnuts.
now reach over and say, now we're gonna go.
Okay, so now we're gonna drop our walnuts in. Here, taste this. Yeah, let's Sebastian taste it. Okay, there we go. Let me get all of it off. I don't want none of that. Okay. All right, so some young man take that to the freezer and put it in the freezer for me. Good. Okay.
Can I get that piece?
Smile, baby.